Hey everybody, it's Emily and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my favorite top makeup brushes, where and how to use them for specific things. So I'm excited. I'm gonna show you also like a nice little eye look, and yeah, it's just gonna be a get ready with me, and while talking about each brush and what brush should go with what makeup item basically. So I already have primer on my face. I already have a little bit of like corrector on, moisturizer on, my under eye serum on, so my face is nice and cleansed and washed and all of that. So we're gonna go in with foundation first, and we're gonna talk about my favorite foundation brush. So the reason why I'm making this video is because not only is it hard enough to know what makeup items to use, but now there's brushes for every little particular thing. So I'm just gonna break it down for you and show you guys the brushes that I like to use. So, and you don't have to run out and buy the most expensive brushes. I will be the first to tell you that. So the foundation brush that I love, it is a little pricey, but like I said, you could really go to the drugstore and get anything that is similar. As you'll see, I have some high end, I have some very low end. So I use from It Cosmetics their Complexion Perfection brush in number 7. It's like an all over concealer brush. If you hear something in the background, I have a movie on. But basically, I'm going to be using this foundation from Wet n Wild. It's their Photo Focus foundation in Rose Ivory. It looks like this. I love this stuff. So amazing. It lasts like almost the whole day, you know? So I love that. And then I use it with something that looks like this. So, you know, you have a very thick, dense, almost very, you can tell that it's very dense and it's going to help buff. You don't want anything that's like, you don't want something like this for foundation, unless your goal is to get something that to look very natural, but you can also get something very natural from something dense like this. I love it because it's got like a dual-sided concealer one as well. So your foundation, and then for the little crevices that you really can't get with this. So what I do is I shake it up, and then I take some of the foundation. But the thing I like about this is it has like this little, like a paddle. Do you see it? And I just put the desired amount on, and usually the desired amount comes on this little paddle, and I don't really like to wear a lot of foundation. Concealer is usually where I like to use a lot more, so I'll use like that amount. Now you can skip foundation if you don't like to use foundation, but this is just for the sake of the video. So taking this nice kabuki condensed side, and you just want to buff your foundation in. Buff in circular motions, circular. You don't want to drag, okay? You want to go in circular light motion. Okay? Nice circular motion. And this brush is really drinking it all up, and it's giving you a nice even. Make sure to bring it down the neck, go to the ears. I'm watching What a Girl Wants on Netflix. Okay, so for example, like in this area, if you can't really get in there, that's why I love this, because you can really go into that area and on your eyelid. Okay. And it's just like a nice light, just nice. It's not gonna make you look like you're covered in makeup, and I love that about it. Okay, so that's what I would use for my foundation. I love this brush. Looks like that. It's just, it's so amazing. It spreads the makeup out evenly, makes you look like you have very natural looking skin. So that's what I love to use for foundation. So moving on for concealer, some people like to use brushes for concealer. Sometimes people like to use little beauty blenders for concealer. To be honest with you, I like to use my fingers. So the concealer that I've really been liking is from Morphe in C155. So I just put it basically where I need it. Or you can just take that brush that I just showed you and use the opposite little smaller side. Okay. I think I'm like running out of this. Okay. So like I said, you can take the opposite side to the foundation. You can use your hands, or sometimes I like to use, this is from Bareminerals, but I like to use this with powder. Or you can use something kind of flat like this and press the foundation in. Or you can use a nice little small beauty blender. You can get these guys at CVS, and you can just bounce that in. So it's up to you. You can use your ring finger. Sometimes I like to use my finger when it comes to concealer because I can really feel it and where I need to place it. Plus the warmth of your finger, I don't know, I just feel like it presses it in and makes it. And don't forget the inner corner right there. Don't forget your eyelid with the veins. Corner of the nose. But if you like to use a specific brush at this point, you can. Those are pretty much the options. Just something flat because you want to basically press it. But I like to just use my fingers, to be honest. Okay, so now for something like if you just want to look blend it all around, you can just go back to the foundation brush and make sure it's all blended in. Or you can switch it over and go like that. Okay. So, moving on. This is now when I use these little beauty blenders. I don't use the larger beauty blender for this part. I only use these little smaller ones. You don't have to use a beauty blender for this part. I just really love it for the baking under the eyes. You could use something kind of fluffier, or I 100% recommend something like this. So I'm using from Absolute New York, their HD Flawless in Brightening Banana. I will link below my referral link. You can get 10% off of their website for anything. Just getting some into the cap. Okay, oh, okay. I just got it like all over my dress. Okay, I wish it wasn't so messy, right? So now the thing I like about these is they have a pointed side. Sometimes they come with the flat side. Sometimes I like to use the point for the corner and the flat for under. So that's probably what I'm going to do right now. And I just put a nice generous amount on because I'm going to be doing an eye look. So I'll want that area to be nice and baking and all that. So now I need the point side. And I see some makeup videos where people just like, they get it right on. I'm very particular about the placement of the powder. Okay. You can just kind of fast forward through this because I'm just like a nut when it comes to the powder, basically. Okay, so next would be what I'll show you for doing an eye look. You could really go out there and buy a million different brushes, but you don't need to, okay? I'm gonna show you 2 brushes that you're gonna need, okay? But before we do that, let me just talk about all over face powder to set the face. So taking the same powder that we just used under our eyes. So you want something now that's just gonna be very fluffy, very just moldable, very fluffy. This is from e.l.f. It's the Complexion Brush. I mean, I think it's like $5. Maybe it's less. I love these for powder. Love it. Because you can just sweep this away. Love it. So I'm just gonna take what's in the cap and just swirl it onto the T-zone. And basically I'm setting my face. This is how I set my face. And I go to all the important areas that would make me oil up throughout the day. Okay. And I like to use something that's like fluffy like this because you just want to disperse the powder. You don't want to have it like looking flaky and chunky and just looking like not blended out and effortless. You just want to like powder it and have it even, basically. Okay, next we're going to talk about eyes. I'm going to be doing a nice little peach look. I'm going to be taking the Sweet Peach palette. I know you guys have this palette. Take it out. Let's play with it. Let's go. And if you don't have it, you need to get it. It's from Too Faced. I think it came out like a year or 2 ago. So it looks like this inside. Isn't that beautiful? So gorgeous. And we're just going to be playing with some of those peachy shades, okay? So the first brush I would recommend, highly recommend you purchasing. This actually came with my Tarte Toasted palette, but I recommend you getting something like this for every eye look. It's basically a nice, fluffy, kind of dome-shaped brush, but it's super fluffy. And what this is used for is for blending. So it's blending out that crease. So right here you can visibly see my crease, and this is great for just buffing, blending, and putting shade, and putting like a shade up there. So we're gonna, I don't know. I really haven't thought it through on what I'm doing. I know I want to do something nice and like brown and peachy, sort of. So I think I'm gonna start with the color Candied Peach. And it's this one right in the middle. And I'm gonna put that in the crease. So you're gonna know what I mean in a sec. So I'm just taking some of that onto the brush, that Candied Peach color. And we're just gonna start buffing it into the crease. And this palette smells like peaches. It's just like an added plus. Okay. And I love this brush because it just fits right into the eye crease socket area, and then it just buffs and blends, and it's amazing. See? And you really don't even have to think about it. It just work in nice circular motions. Don't drag. Circular motions. Circular, back and forth, back and forth, back, forth, back. It's like a circular, it's like you're going back and then you're going forth like that. See? And that's really how you get that desired buffed out look. Okay. Just want the desired shade. You can really put whatever color you want on out of this palette. Or better yet, pick your favorite palette and follow these little steps, you know? Okay, so we got that pretty peach going on. For some reason, the way my room and the natural light, because I do have natural light right here, it makes this sort of side of my face look darker. But I swear they're even. Like, I don't know how. It just kind of makes it darker looking. This looks lighter. This looks like unblended and darker, but they're really the same. I promise. Okay. So, next, I would highly recommend some type of a smudger. Looks like this. Dome-shaped, sort of has some give to it, but it's still stiff, okay? And it's a smudger, and this is from Smashbox. Love this one. I freaking use it all every day. I'm gonna be taking that Candied Peach shade again. I'm gonna show you how to get an entire look with like 2 brushes, okay? This is why you don't have to run out and get brushes that are gonna cost you like an arm and a leg. It's ridiculous. I mean, half the time I use my hands, and you guys know that. Clean hands, of course. Okay, so I'm putting that nice peach color on the bottom, and I love it because it is what it says it is. It's a smudger, you know? You're just taking that pigment, lining it up to the under eye line, and you're just drawing it back and forth and smudging and buffing. Okay. So we look something like that. So we have that same shade in the crease, same shade down here. So now it's not really a brush, but we're gonna take you could take your hands, or you could take something like, I know I spoke about this for concealer, but you can really interchange with brushes as long as they're clean, you know? So you could clean it off, and then you could use it for the lid. So it's a little bit flat. See how it's flat? I'm turning it to the side, and it's like flat. It's still kind of fluffy, but it's still sort of stiff. You could do that when placing pigment onto the lid. Now, to get something of high intensity, like let's say you want to use like Luminoso or Bellini, those kind of ones that give off iridescent look, or like you want to put something like that on the middle of the lid, I just recommend you taking some type of setting spray, spraying your finger or spraying the brush. So once the brush is wet, then you take that pigment and it comes so much more to life. So I think I'm gonna just take my finger and I'm gonna take the color Summer Yum, which is at the bottom row. It looks like that's like a reddish brown. It's so pretty. And we're just gonna put that on I'm just doing it how I would do it. Just putting it on my finger, and I'm just putting that all over the lid. it is a little hard to work with at first, but just warm. That's why I like to use my finger, because you can just warm it up. The fingers aren't talked about enough, I swear. You know, you just can warm it and blend it to perfection with your finger. Okay, so we look like that so far. Let's get the other eye matching. Now you don't have to put this dark color on the lid. You could put, like I said, a nice shimmery color. You could have just sort of left it the way it was. So how are you guys holding up? You guys doing all right? Let me know down below where you are, like what state you are, and how you're feeling, and I hope everybody's safe and family members are okay. Okay, so we got that summer yum to make it look a little bit more sexy and rich looking. So going back into the fluffy brush, taking the color above it called Just Peachy. It's above the candied one, so we're going right up there. And we're going back to the crease. And I'm gonna go back and forth between candied peach, that first peach, and the Just Peachy color. So, and we're just buffing and adding. Took a little bit of my brown away. Okay. But you see, I love this brush because it's just, it adds color, it buffs it in, it makes the look more wearable. It's definitely a brush to look for. I mean, like I said, you could get it from the company Eco Tools, because I have a very similar brush. Let me find the Eco Tools brush. So, you see how they're very similar? This one's just a tad bit more on the fluffier end than this one. This one's a little bit more stiff. And I feel like when you're working with eye makeup in particular, you definitely want something a little bit more stiff. I don't mean stiff like as in like a concealer type brush, because you want to be able to manipulate that the way you want to be able to manipulate where you're placing each color. Let me just come closer to my eye, make sure everything is the way I need it to look. And that's another thing it's good for, like just buffing out here and dragging out. That's another way of making your eye look like, you know, like it goes up, like you got some work done. Okay, let me just fix and make sure everything is looking nice. Because like I said, I'm working with natural light, and sometimes it's like deceiving. Like I'll think I have it all blended. Okay. So that's pretty much like what I would do eye makeup wise and eye brush wise. When it comes to getting up into that brow bone, I usually just take my little stubby pinky, or another good usage of this little smudger is if it was cleaned off, you could just take that and place the highlight color like right along the brow bone. So like I said, you can really just do whatever you want, and that's how fun makeup is. See, I have a little tiny pinky, so I'll just do that, and then, but like I said, if you don't like using your fingers too much, I'm also showing you nice alternatives. And also like on a budget, because nobody, like unless you're, you know what I mean, like who has the money and the time to just go out and buy like brushes after brushes, you know? I like to work with what I got. Okay, I'm just bringing that nice color in to brighten the eye up. Okay. So that's what the eyes are looking like so far. So now we're going to wipe away that fallout. That's why I highly recommend doing baking, so you can just kind of wipe that away. And what I would recommend for just wiping away would either be the all over face powder brush we used, or something like this, Flawless Face and Eye from Bareminerals. So it's got like a nice fluffy side, but it's a little bit kind of tapered in, but it's still very nice for wiping away powder or placing powder. Also, this is another nice side for eyelid, placing shadow, placing concealer. So this is another dual-ended brush. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of dual-ended brushes. So this is what I would use for powder, okay? I have another one from Bareminerals. This is the Buff and Blend. So this one I would use for more like this side, I would use for my cheeks, my blush, because it's sort of more, as you can tell, like this is more tapered in, like it's going in, right? And it's a little bit more stiff. This one is more dome-shaped, round, and much more fluffier. So I'll use this for blush, okay? And then it's got a nice little fluffy side. So, like I was talking before, I love these type of brushes to get that color in there, buffing it. You can also just purchase this because it's got your nice little buff. You can even buff bronzer with it, you know? There's no rules. I mean, I know some people are like, that's gotta be used with that, but really it can all be interchanged and used in many different ways. So now I'm gonna be going in with bronzer. So if I was gonna be doing like a sculpt type of moment, a sculpt sort of contour, I would have done that before I set my face with powder, okay? So I would have done the concealer, the brightening under the eyes, and then I would have gone on to draw on the contour. And then if I did something like that to get more of a chiseled cheekbone look, then I would have used something like this guy. This is also from Bareminerals. It is their tiny little kabuki guy. And what he does is he takes that sharp drawn line and we're able to buff and blend more precisely, okay? If I'm just doing an everyday sort of bronzer contour, I'm gonna be taking this one. This is their handy Buki from Bareminerals. I love Bareminerals brushes, okay? You notice how it's obviously much larger, but it is also a kabuki brush. Kabukis are really good for like trying to buff, but keep it where you specifically want to place it. So moving on to bronzer. So we're taking our little powder brush I talked about and we're wiping that away. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to bronzer. So I'm taking from Hoola Benefit. Well, I'm taking from Benefit Hoola. Love this guy. I got this for my birthday at Ulta. It was like my birthday month. So as you guys can tell, I love me some Hoola. So I take the kabuki for the bronzer. Looks like this. I highly recommend if you're trying to contour but not make it look super contour, like you're trying too hard basically. Like you're still gonna get that Kim Kardashian type look, but not so severe. More on an everyday going to your 9 to 5 or like going to like a nice little get together. Like you're not going to a ball, you know? Okay. So like if I was going somewhere really special, I would have done the cream contour because it lasts longer. And it also makes everything more like that. So we're the same purpose, suck in the cheeks. And the purpose of a kabuki is it's placing it where you want it, but it's also, the bristles are very condensed and tight. So it's going to help make things much more sharper looking, but also blending them out. So I'll show you one side of the face with the kabuki brush, and then I'll show you the other side. Don't forget the neck and the chin. Go all the way down here too, and to the ear too, and the hairline. Get in that hairline. Get in it. Okay. So I did, obviously, one side. Can you tell, like, it's not super dramatic? It's not like, oh my god, she's got massive contour on, but it just made my face look like I got a little bit of extra sun, you know? Okay. I love this part in What a Girl Wants, when she comes out onto the fashion show, because the stepsister was like, you can wear whatever you want to wear, and she's just in like a casual looking outfit, and it's I wanna be there, and that song is on. Okay. But like I said, if you're trying to aim and get yourself to look more chiseled, it does a fantastic job. It really does. But you can also switch back to that other one and do like a nice little nose contour. But it also buffs it out. Okay, nice. So now we're on to blush. I'm sorry this video is like taking forever. I have a hard time just getting to the point with things. Okay, blush. Taking from Too Faced. I got this actually at Christmas. It's their Let It Snow Girl. And we're gonna be taking Marion Bright, which is that nice little peachy guy right down at the bottom. So blush, I'm gonna take my Buff and Blend, the guy I was talking about before, with more of a fluffier end. Or this, I swear, I think my sister got this for me at the dollar store one time, and just something that's fluffy, but something a little bit more. You want something when you're placing blush on your face to be very precise, but fluffy, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna go with my tried and true. And you smile, and you place it right on your apple and buff it back. Okay. Now, blush, I always put on a ton of blush, because blush is like literally the first thing to go for me. I don't know where it goes. Okay. Now, if you feel like you put too much blush on, you go back to that foundation brush that we used in the beginning, and you don't add more foundation. You just take the brush with the foundation already previously on it, and it just helps bring it down, all of it. It also helps to buff it and blend it, okay? Or you can take a nice little powder brush that we used before. And just kind of blend that in. So, next I'm going to spray my face. This is from NYX, the matte finish matte. It's like a matte setting spray, long lasting. Love this guy, love it, amazing. Got it, I think at Target in their little drugstore makeup area. Okay, next usually I kind of just let the setting spray soak in. So while we do that, let's get some mascara going. So I'm taking from Essence the Forbidden Volume. I really love this. It really makes my lashes look super long. Just take any old mascara that you love and just do like 2 coats. Mascara is very tedious for me because I need it to like look perfect. I get like annoyed if my mascara doesn't look right. Does anybody get like that? I don't know if you can tell, but that guy, that little bugger, he always is down. I don't know why. Okay. So highlight, you can use multiple different brushes. I see a lot of people using something that looks like this. It's kind of, or a fan brush. It's that little, that fanny looking brush, or just something like this to precisely put it and buff it out. So let's take from MAC, Soft and Gentle, and put it there. Now, if you want your highlight to be a little bit more intense, you spray your brush and then you put it on, okay? So. Right, like if you want it to be more blinding, you'd use that, or you could take the eye thing that we used. Well, I use the other one from Tarte, but you can also use this to precisely put it there. To be honest with you, I end up just using my finger. A lot of people, they like to use the fan brush for the highlight. I just end up using, like, I'll take my powder brush and I'll kind of put it where it's supposed to go, and I'll put it on my forehead to give a nice glow. Like that. And then I'll go in with my ColourPop Flexitarian, and I'll take my ring finger and just sort of like put it exactly where I need it, and buffing it with my finger. Okay? And just be careful if you have a lot of texture in that area, which we all do. Just be careful the placement of where you're putting things. Just be conscious of like your face, you know, and what looks good and what doesn't. Okay. And I'm gonna just put a nice little peachy lip from Anastasia in Dainty Lip Gloss, but I like this stuff because it's very pigmented. See? I love these. I highly recommend these. They're so pigmented. And like I said, that's Dainty by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It looks like this. Super gorgeous, super pretty. Okay. So now is when I would take my little Eco Tools guy, my little friend, and I would go back into my powder. Okay, it's totally up to you as a person. Okay, and I just go in because I have dark under eye circles from birth. It's hereditary. It runs in my family. It's hereditary. It's genetics. I don't really know. My aunts had them on my mom's side. I think my dad's side had them too. So I have to do this twice. Some people just do it once, and that's awesome. I gotta do it twice. And I also just go over everything with the powder, and I've noticed that it just helps everything kind of stay. So I'll go around my nose, I'll go around my little laugh lines, and I'll just kind of just buff and blend everything in. Make sure to go in the corner over there. Don't forget the forehead. Sometimes I go on the sides to chisel it out a bit more, but it's completely up to you. And that's really the finished look. And then if you want, spray your face again. If you're like me, you'll put tons of layers of mascara on until you're happy. I'm really into this peach moment. It's nice. Okay. And that's it. That's the brushes I use. That's how I use each thing with the brush. And that's that. You know, you don't have to run out and buy a million different brushes. You don't even need brushes from Tarte. You know, you can really, like I said, you can go to like the dollar store, or you can get like from Eco Tools, or you can get nice prestige ones like from Smashbox, It Cosmetics, Bareminerals. You know, you're gonna obviously get it, your money's worth there. Like I said, you wait a little while, and then you notice how that just sort of made everything pop. But anyway, it's up to you and how you utilize your brushes. And basically you just want to focus on, you know, what you're using, how you're using it, and just, you know, focus on that, and you'll notice a difference in your makeup. Brushes are important. I'm not gonna just be like they're not important. They are important for certain things. You know, if you do want that to be nice and buffed out, or if you want your foundation to go on nice, it does help. It does. It does. It makes the overall complexion a little bit more like natural and buffed out. But then again, I'm not gonna lie, using your hands also can help in making everything look nice and buffed. So it's up to you and what you prefer, what your preference is. I mean, growing up, I didn't have all these brushes, so I was obviously using my hands, or, you know, when I could, I would maybe buy a brush here and there. But I mean, brushes, they do help. So I'm not gonna like say that they don't help. But yeah, those are my top picks for brushes and how I place my makeup using them. So yeah, I'm so sorry that this video was so long. I just, when I'm describing something, I can't just get to the point. Like, I'm talking to you guys as if you guys are my friends, so I'm just talking to you as if you're like right in front of me, right? So yeah, those are my top picks for my favorite brushes that I use almost every single time I put my makeup on. But yeah, like I said, you don't have to run out and buy makeup brushes. So that's the end of the video. I love you guys. Also, I'm thinking about doing a gemstone series. Yay! I want it to not just be like simple makeup. I want it to be like a wearable makeup look that you could try, but I want to add like little gems and little fun things. So I have to obviously buy them and look for them. So, but yeah, that's the finished look using the makeup brushes. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support, and I hope that you guys are doing well. Yeah, we're in this together. And comment below if you like this look. If you have any questions, don't be afraid. Ask away. Yeah, follow me on all my social medias. Check out the standard album that I did with my father. That's on SoundCloud. You can listen to it for free. Yeah, that's that. I love you guys, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye.